Eto'o was fined on several occasions. Eto'o was punished by FIFA, was banned from match stadium by FIFA. Then how can Eto'o control his temper if he becomes the overall chairman in African football?
Welcome back to EVO SPORTS TV, right here on your favorite football station, where we diagnose, analyze, and give you the very best of football from Africa and every part of the world. My name is Albert Israel Jr. Right here on the studio with me is my colleague, Chima Samuel. We're going to give you the best of it today as we go into various topics as concerning football on and off the pitch. Chima, so many things happening in the world of football, yes, both on the pitch and off the pitch, especially right here in the city of our lovely city, our lovely home of continent of Africa. Now, there are so many stories making the round about Samuel Eto'o succeeding Patrice Motsepe as the CAF president. And I've seen several AI-generated information, electronic information that have perceived Eto'o being the CAF president. Don't forget, most recently, Eto'o was, I think, elected into CAF technical committee or something like that. Do you think Eto'o becoming the CAF president, it will really make African football grow beyond the way it is, given that even as the president of FECAFOOT, he has been dragged here and there, having issues with the president of the Minister of Sport of the Cameroon national of the Cameroonian football, and as well the players, and how he sacked the former coach McBreeze and all of that. Do you think with all these antics of his, if he becomes the CAF president after Patrice Motsepe, is going to be the person that will take African football to that desired height that we've really been expecting?
Two things are happening now. Some FAs have started pushing for Eto'o to be the CAF president. And why they started pushing for Eto'o is that, firstly, allegedly, the Senegalese FA, the Senegal FA are part of them, and some North African countries are pushing for Samuel Eto'o to take over. Eto'o is a successful football player. In his days, he won about 4 African Best Player of the Year. He has won UEFA Champions League, no doubt about that. But being an ex-international does not make you a very good administrator. Patrick Motsepe, wonderful man, a billionaire. He owns Mamelodi Sundowns. He has been in football business. He gave out over $10 million to South Africans for football development. That is why they named the second league Motsepe League. This one have done pretty well in terms of football. And in Africa, I have maintained my stand that for Africa to grow as a country in football, to meet up to some standard in football, we do not need all the ex-internationals to become our administrator. We need more of, don't misquote me, we need ex-international, but we need more of businessmen that understand football well, because a businessman, anywhere you see a businessman wants to make profit. Anywhere you see a businessman handling any project, that businessman definitely will give his all in that business. Now, Samuel Eto'o and Patrick Motsepe, they have difference. They have their advantage and disadvantage. Why were people pushing for Eto'o? They were pushing for Eto'o because they feel like Patrick Motsepe is being controlled by the North African. They feel like Patrick Motsepe is being shaky somewhere in terms of making decisions. But in terms of profit, since Patrick Motsepe came in as CAF president, he has done pretty well. He has increased prize money of CAF up to $10 million currently. Club football are beginning to make wave. People who just participate and go out of the qualifying round make not less than $50,000. So a lot of sponsors are becoming in. Total Energies, our football is going bigger and bigger in Africa. Why? Because Patrick Motsepe is a businessman, he's a lover of football, and he's not a greedy man. He knows he wants to invest. Firstly, Patrick Motsepe does not earn salary as a CAF president. He returns those salary back to football development in Africa. He said because he wants to strengthen the CAF financial pocket. So that is a very good advantage. This is the first time I'm seeing an African man becoming a CAF president and not interested in the money they are making. They are only interested in the leadership. That is one advantage Patrick Motsepe has brought him into CAF as CAF president. Unlike before, where we have greedy men as CAF president, those who just want to make money. In this Patrick Motsepe era, there have been a lot of transparency in terms of finance. Sponsors who trust him come in now, because when sponsors want to come in, they want to come into those who they trust that if I give you 1 billion to make business or to execute this project, am I going to make the profit? Are you going to use it well? Because Patrick Motsepe is already rich, so he does not need your money. In terms of Eto'o have been controversial. Eto'o self has his positive side. Eto'o is a man that understands football very well on the field of play, but not outside the field of play. Eto'o feels if he becomes a CAF president, the only advantage that Eto'o will bring is that players are going to enjoy. There are many rules, there are many things that players will do. You go to protect players in a very different way. There are going to be some advantage in terms of the playing of football in Africa. But then again, administration-wise, I don't think that Eto'o can surpass or can do better than Patrick Motsepe. But Eto'o on his own has done pretty well. Now, when Eto'o took over CAF FECAFOOT president in Cameroon. After then, in 2025, Eto'o became CAF executive member. Why? Eto'o is already eyeing CAF presidency. Summer, he was eyeing CAF presidency. So he's coming from somewhere, and that dictatorship spirit is in Eto'o, based on his track record in Cameroon. Now, FA president experience with FECAFOOT, because before you can become a CAF president, you must be eligible by all these things. You must become CAF executive member, which Eto'o has become one already in 2025, and then you must be an FA. You must have an FA experience, which already is having that as a FECAFOOT president. Now, massive continental profile and influence. Eto'o is already gathering those influence, already gathering those support from other countries and other FAs. Now, when Eto'o became FECAFOOT president, these are the few positive things he has done. Why people are pushing for him. Eto'o increased subsidies for Elite One clubs. Elite One clubs is a Cameroon championship, the premiership. Formerly, they aim 11 million CFA as the prize money in Cameroon. But when Eto'o came in, Eto'o increased the money from 11 million CFA to almost 50 million CFA. Now, then clubs now in Cameroon now increase their salary that they are paying players because of Eto'o's influence. Those are the positive things Eto'o have done in Cameroon, because Eto'o has positive and negative side of it. So now, when you come to this price, 11 million CFA before, which is over 28.6 million naira, then that is about 19.8 thousand US dollars. That was the prize money before Eto'o came in. Now, when Eto'o came in, he pushed that money to 50 million CFA. That 50 million CFA now is about 130 million naira. In naira, there's over 88.9 thousand US dollars in dollar. Now, competitions were revived. A lot of competitions were revived in Cameroon. That competitions are part of beach soccer. Since Eto'o came in, he revived beach soccer in Cameroon. Corporate and veterans league, and a new cup like Super Cup to reopen the league. When they want to start a new season, they play Super Cup. Before, it was not like that. So that is how you know a player, somebody who has played the ball before. You have some certain experience. You want to project some certain kind of competitions or some certain kind of things, to make the football be like European. But in terms of that, apart from that, Eto'o we still lack somehow in administration. But I'm just reading out some positive things that I have detected that he has done, while some other FAs are pushing for, because they believe that Eto'o is a very rugged man. Is the kind of man that the Europeans cannot take him as a puppet. They will not control what he will do. So Eto'o will stand his guy, whether he's doing the right thing or he's doing the wrong thing. But then again, as a leader, sometimes you need to flex your muscles somehow. Now, coming to the second now, partnership with international bodies. Eto'o is already doing that. He's bringing European bodies to come and invest in Cameroon football currently. Now, setting up training centers to improve coaching and technical development in Cameroon. Now, we talk about Elite 2, that is the second division league in Cameroon. Now, the second division league, before they aim 7 million CFA in Cameroon, that is second division league. But now, Eto'o has doubled that money to 14 million CFA, which is 7 million CFA, is about 19 million naira in naira. That is in Cameroon, a team, one team, when you win the league to promote to the premiership, you earn 19 million, which is a very small money. That is about 12.6 thousand US dollar. But now Eto'o have doubled it to 14 million CFA, which is about 38 million naira. That's about 25.2 thousand US dollars. Now, minimum salaries now in Elite 1, the minimum salary since Eto'o came in, Eto'o influence have made club side now to be paying 200,000 CFA per month the minimum to each players in Cameroon Football League now, which that 200,000 CFA is about 550,000 naira in naira, then $360 in dollar, then 100,000 CFA for second division team minimum there, which is about 225,000 naira, and then about $180, which is still small, but imagine how much the players were earning before Eto'o came in. So these are the positive things Eto'o have done since coming in. Then when he came into, Eto'o use his influence to write to Ministry of Sport to release funds so that they can settle the players that were being owed for several years in that club, because money was not flowing anyhow. So once Eto'o came, he found out that many players in Cameroonian league were not being paid, because many people don't know that Eto'o too have done well in Cameroon now. So now Eto'o made the sport minister to release about 560 million CFA, which is about over 1.5 billion naira, to clear up wages, outstanding debt of many football players. Yet some clubs still did not pay up. That is the problem we are facing in Africa. Now Mosepe, coming to Mosepe's side, now Mosepe is a very good businessman. Coming into CAF presidency, he knows what he wants. He have seen the football. A man who owns Mamelodi Sundowns, a man who already Mamelodi Sundowns made Mamelodi Sundowns one of the richest clubs. That club is worth over $30-something million in Africa. One of the richest clubs in Africa. Players who play for Sundowns enjoy every benefit like players who play in Europe. Are you getting my? So already this man already wants people around him to succeed. He wants footballers to enjoy. So coming into CAF presidency, he did not come here to languish money, to embezzle money. He came into that space to come and make Africa great. So now, if you want to compare these two, Eto'o is like a dictatorship. Before the AFCON, Eto'o sacked the coach of Cameroon, Mark Brice, and brought in Pegu. Even when the sport minister was against that sacking, he was flexing his muscles with sport minister. If that kind of man come in as a CAF president, there's going to be a challenge. There's going to be a problem, because Eto'o now have that ego that I am a former player, I am a world star, I have been African best, I know everything about football. But then he forgot that in terms of administration, you have to bring out good attitude for sponsors, for partners to come in. Now, some sponsors categorically said that if Patrick Motsepe leave as CAF president, they are going to terminate every contract they have with CAF. So which means there's a level of trust that Patrick Motsepe commands from people. And as a businessman, Patrick Motsepe is going out of his will. In fact, he has spent his money personally to do a whole lot for African football, because he's a multi-billionaire. So now I doubt if Eto'o comes in as CAF president, first of all, will Eto'o not be too stubborn in that position to take so many decisions that might not go the way that might not all go well, just like he did as a president of FA. As a president of FA, if Eto'o could not even control his anger, Eto'o was fined on several occasions, Eto'o was punished by FIFA, was banned from Man Stadium by FIFA, then how can Eto'o control his temper if he becomes the overall chairman in African football? So that is my concern. Eto'o is a world-class player. Eto'o is a very good player. He has tried in Cameroon, but at the same time too, in Cameroon, he's damaging something too by using his too much power, by making it look like I am best. If you are a FA chairman in Cameroon, the sport minister is ahead of you. So there are certain things too that you should listen to your sport minister as well, because that sport minister is ahead of. But if you and your sport minister is having issues in Cameroon, if you cannot handle your own well, if you cannot be loyal to your organs, to the top people in your country, then how are we sure that if Eto'o become a CAF president, Eto'o will be loyal in Africa?
All right. Nice thought there. But you looking at positives and negatives as individuals, right? You've read or you've stated out some of the positives of Samuel Eto'o, why he tried to grow Cameroonian football, source for sponsorship and all of that, developing the Elite League 1, Elite League 2, increasing their salaries, the minimal and all of that. Now, the positive too of Patrice Motsepe and one or two challenges he has had. Now, looking at the fact that Samuel Eto'o has been so cocky-headed, let me use that word, the Minister of Sport, Nasi Kombi, has been having issues with him back-to-back, having issues with players. He dismissed Bryce and brought in David Pago, his assistant, and all of that. Now, in the course of your analysis, your in-depth analysis, you spoke about an ex-player that perhaps may not have administrative knowledge, right? When Eto'o was leaving, it was about 3-4 years ago, we learned that Samuel Eto'o is going back to school. He's going to Harvard University, which is one of the best universities in the world. I wouldn't know how factual that is, or if he has concluded his program and all of that. Now, you really create a balance there. Being an ex-international is quite different from you having football administrative knowledge. Now, you're talking about Patrice Motsepe that knows the nitty-gritty about the game, that have been following, supporting football or sponsoring football. I think football is one of his core.
With his personal money.
With his personal money. He has been a football entrepreneur spanning over decades and all of that. So I want to ask you this again. Do you think if Samuel Eto'o succeeds Patrice Motsepe in the future, do you think he's going to be better off than what Patrice Motsepe has done? Or you think he will not, by basis of comparison, when his time has elapsed, he will not be in any way in tandem with what Patrice Motsepe has achieved?
Okay, let me quickly give you a few analysis about the both of them, the advantage and the disadvantage. Why I think that Eto'o will not be better off in if he succeeds Patrice Motsepe is that the area he will not be better off in terms of sponsorship, in terms of making Africa bigger, because Patrice Motsepe has a very big vision and somebody who has been supporting football for a very long time. First of all, Patrice Motsepe has a football club. A man who has a football club, who is running a football club, whether there's profit or not, there might have been a time he has made some losses, signing players, the players get injured, and all of those, because as a businessman, you lose and you make profit. So Patrice Motsepe already understand football business. Are you getting my point now? If you check everywhere in the world, quote me and I say it again, everywhere in the world, every league, club FA, club president, those who have succeeded as FA chairman and club president, most of them, 60 to 70% were not ex-international. They were businessmen or either people that played little football, they did not play success, but they now understand the football business, but they venture into it and they succeeded more than the so-called ex-international are good, but mostly they are good in coaching, not in administration part of it. So most of the time they mix them together, not because that is why you find out we're facing the same challenges in Nigeria as well too. You understand me now? So if we have good businessmen like Patrice Motsepe running that CAF, the advantages is there already, which we already seen, and it's going to be higher because they will not lack in terms of coughing out money to improve our league. But where Eto'o is going to improve more is that one, Eto'o, some of the rules and things that Patrice Motsepe feels so shy of taking, rules that might affect some country, Eto'o will not be shy of taking those rules. Eto'o can, in fact, if Eto'o happens to be the CAF president, what happened in AFCON, before that thing happened, say Eto'o will not tolerate that kind of thing from those Morocco. Eto'o will not tolerate nonsense from any organizer, because Eto'o was a footballer. He knows the pains of footballer on the field of play. He knows how he knows what, anything that happens to a footballer, if they are stealing towel or they are doing anything, Eto'o already understand from a playing perspective. He knows that this thing is again, and if referees are not officiating well, Eto'o can lose his temper. Eto'o can, because of that, so Eto'o can put in some certain things in order because it's an exit. But in terms of generally, if you want to check it generally, Patrice Motsepe would be a better. I don't think Eto'o can sort it more, because first of all, from where Eto'o is coming from, if Eto'o can make Cameroon great very well, if Eto'o can run a club first and succeed properly well, then I can be listening to Eto'o. But you can't tell me that a man who owns a Sundown, who has been running football, who has spent 10 million euros of his money to develop football in his country, and up till now the club is still running, and up till now they name a league, Motsepe League in South Africa. I don't care where you come from, I don't care the country you come from. What I care is about the game in Africa, how African football can go. So whoever that is supposed to come in and take African football to the next level, I am supposed to. For now, Eto'o should prove us wrong by trying to fix Cameroon, trying to make Cameroon right, trying to make sure that everything he promised and everything is going well in Cameroonian football. If he can do that, then we can begin to look at him. If you check all our Amaju Pinnick, all of those things, nobody can compete for Capre. Why? Because they feel like maybe they are not capable of offering that position, because running a business is not easy. So Motsepe running football club and done well right from time, he has that track record already. Right now, Motsepe is being lured to come and become president of South Africa. If he's not doing well in CAF president, they will not be shouting his name to come back home to come and do, because he already is a selfless man. So I want Eto'o to be like that, so that Eto'o can add this footballing experience, join with that already to come. Eto'o is a very stubborn man and occupying that position. Many sponsors, he might not be able to work with many sponsors that will help African football.
All right. Now, if we look at the analysis and from other information on for what we've seen, Patrice Motsepe is really a pillar of African football.
Yes, currently.
He's someone that has relentless passion for the game of football, giving his life, everything. You can see even at the AFCON, he was at every stadium, at every match, his eyes fixated to matches and all of that, following activities. For you to even have a football club, sponsored leagues, and follow-up activities, it's not been easy all through. Much kudos to Patrice Motsepe. But in 2 minutes, I want you to give a word to Patrice Motsepe and an advice for Eto'o as regards his desire to become the CAF president if time permits him to be. Just a word for Patrice Motsepe and advice.
Is that he should continue with his good work, with his selfless push, to make African football bigger. But one advice I will advise him is that he should try, whenever he sees anything that is wrong, whether it's from North Africa, West Africa, anybody that goes against the rule, referees or home country, anywhere, he should make sure, endeavor to punish them so that everybody will be used to that punishment, knowing where that is standing neutral in Africa and is the CAF president. So everybody is under him, irrespective of your relationship with them. So that will help football, because we are here to grow other African countries and not make things to repeat itself. So that is one advice I want to give Patrice, to stand firm in any decision he's making against anybody. No favoritism to anybody in terms of judgment. You understand? So that is about. Aside from that, he's doing well. For Samuel Eto'o need to bring his ego down. Being an international, that one has gone. Now that you are FA chairman, you need to act as a father. You need to act as an administrator, and then you need to follow the rules and regulations. As an FA chairman, you don't need to fight with your sport minister. You don't need to do things to scatter your coin. You don't need to do things because you are instant. People should respect you, and then anything you say is fine. And no, from administration part of it, you need to be calm, you need to be calculated, you need to do things that will please many people. Like, you need to let people know that, okay, you are not a dictator, let people vote for you. Patrice Motsepe was voted in the second time flawlessly without any competitor at all. And now he want to step down by and say, if he was not good in the first tenure, nobody will have voted him in like that. So that is just what I have for Eto'o to see. Eto'o is the next person that I know that can take over that mantle, but he need to brush himself very, very well before that next election.
Lovely insight from you there. Hello, sport fans. Right here, I'll give you the very, very best of football, the way you want it, off the pitch and on the pitch.